Okay, so now we're going to do in this lesson a couple more techniques, learn about a few more shortcuts and buttons and some navigational things that we can do to improve our editing and give us a few options. If you remember now, the sequence we've been working on just has these two clips, right? As you're seeing here in my program view, program monitor on the right. We've got this shot, the car coming in to frame, backing up into the turnaround, turning, going out of frame, coming into the next shot. That's two shots. What we're going to do now is, excuse me, is we're going to take this other shot, car number 2 that I just pulled up from my project panel into here, and we're going to insert it in between these two other shots. So here's how we're going to do that. First off, we're going to position our playhead in between, down here in the timeline, we're going to position our playhead right at the cut point between those two other shots that we already edited. Now you can do that manually like I'm doing here and hope you get it right, or there's a couple of shortcuts, of course, to make this smoother and easier. There is a function that allows you to, just like we went up here, we went to go to in point and go to out point, and we could also do it here in the program view. We can also not only view that as an in or out point, we can go to what's known as the actual edit, the cut point, which is right here in between the two shots. So on your keyboard there's a shortcut that you can use. It's the up down arrows, which are right in between your side left right arrows, which usually we use for frame by frame. So the up arrow will shoot the playhead back towards the previous edit point. The down arrow will shoot it to the right to your next edit point. So that's one way to position it. So you can see that by doing that it put the playhead right at the beginning of that other clip. So let me zoom in on that by hitting the plus key, and I can see that that playhead is positioned just at the very beginning of that clip, which means if I put a shot in between these two clips, it will push this clip number 3 over to the right and insert that other clip in between there. Okay, now another way that I could do that in terms of positioning my playhead, let me just kind of randomly put it over here for a minute. Excuse me, is I can come over here and I can use this thing called a button editor, which you can see down here in the lower right hand corner of the program view. The source panel also has one, but I'm going to show you this one. I'm going to hit this plus. What this does is it allows me to add more functions down here to this sort of taskbar, you could call it, that lives underneath the program panel or at the bottom of it. I hit that button and I can add some of these other functions. And the one I want to add, the two that I want to add right now are go to next edit and go to previous edit, which, as you can see, the shortcut is the up and the down keys. But if you prefer to do this way you can see it on the screen. So I'm going to click and drag the previous edit and bring it down, and then I'm going to click the next edit and drag that down. I'm going to hit OK, and it now adds it to that menu. So here I can do the same thing. Go to previous edit point, it jumps back. Go to next edit point. And it positions itself, it goes forward to the next edit. If I did that one more time, it would go to the end of the clip. So I'm going to go back, position the playhead, there I am. Let me do a quick Command S just to save. Now I'm going to pull up clip number 2, which looks like it's already up here. And we are now going to basically take this shot from the time that it's pulled into the turnaround. So I'm gonna come down here to the timeline again and look at where this shot pulls in. It backs up into the turnaround, and then you can see the tire starting to turn. So just before it actually starts to pull out, I'm going to make my edit point right about here. Okay, where the playhead is. Now that's earlier than the previous edit point because I am now going to come back up here to this, and I'm going to make the cut right as the wheels turn. So I'm going to come back down here to the timeline. I'm going to back it up frame by frame, and I'm going to find that moment just before those wheels turn, and they start turning right there. So we're going to put it right there. There's the playhead. So this is technically my new edit point. So you say, well, how do we do that? Well, we can do it a number of different ways. One way we can do is we can trim this clip back from the cut point to the edit line, to the playhead. And we simply do that by hovering the mouse over that cut point. And depending, this takes a sleight of touch. As you can see, as I hover it and I kind of keep it on the left side of that cut point, it gives me this red sort of bracket with an arrow. If I hover it more on the other side, it does the opposite. It kind of gives me the bracket facing the other way, but I want to go this way with it. And now I'm simply going to click and I'm going to drag, and you can see a red, it highlights the ends of the clips, and I'm going to drag left with my mouse and bring it to that point where it's right on the playhead. So I have now trimmed that shot. I've shortened the duration of that clip, so that now ends right at this spot. So now I have a hole. No problem. I can either grab this clip by dragging over it or simply grabbing it like this and sliding it. But in this case, I am going to right click and use what's known as the ripple delete, which is a very quick and accurate way. So you simply click in the hole, you right click in the hole, and you get a ripple delete, slide your mouse over that, highlight it, click on it one more time, and it seals the gap. So now that's my new edit at this point. But of course now I don't have a smooth edit because I see it just sitting there and then it comes in. So let's go ahead and set our playhead again at that cut point. We're going to go to next edit since I was before the edit. Now I'm going to come up here and create my new edit, and here I'm looking at the point where the tires are about to turn. So that is going to happen right about here at about 31:20. So I'm going to mark that in, and then I'm going to drag that until it pulls out of frame right about here. I'm going to mark that out, and now I want to put it in between these two clips, but the quickest way to do that is to come in here and hit the insert button and watch what happens. Click the insert button and it just dropped the clip in between those two shots. So now I have that additional shot, and I'm going to play it back right here through the in my timeline. So it cuts, it's in there, it turns, and now it goes out of frame, and it basically matches up to the previous shot. So now we've sort of added that additional shot to our sequence. Let's take it all the way back from the beginning here so we see it coming in. So basically I just extended that sequence by adding that additional shot and using the insert button, incorporating my next edit clip, my shortcuts, and the insert. And so you can see now that the insert, what it does is it puts itself, it allows you to add a clip in between two other clips, and then it pushes the clip to the right of the timeline out, makes way for it. Let me show you what would have happened if I had done the opposite. Okay, I just undid that edit. If I had done the overlay or the overwrite, then what it would do is it's going to cover up part of this clip. Watch. So what it did there, it looks like it may have done the same thing, but it actually covered up the beginning of that clip. So you can see how we're coming here in the program, and it cuts. And now when we see the next shot, it's going to be later in that shot. See? So we cut the beginning part of that shot because we covered it up. So I'm going to Control Z again, and put back this edit that I had there. Okay, so I'm going to fix it again and go back to my other clip here, right when those wheels are about to turn. Put it there. I'm going to mark in, and then again I will reset that and let it go out of frame. And I could have had that fixed, but I did too many Control Z's, I think. So let me drop that in, insert, and we're back. So now we have the other edit. So that's your insert overwrite buttons and your ripple delete function, and also your ability to go previous and next edits. Okay, we'll continue with, and you also learned some basic trimming, which is a very important part of editing, which you do in the timeline, or you can also do it in the source or the program monitor.